Okay, so now with all this hubbub going around about the Mandalorian and Gina Carano and Pedro Pascal and all this stuff, I heard something in all this mayhem that the Mandalorian is supposedly like the best vehicle for Star Wars ever. Now, I haven't watched it yet. I just didn't see it yet, so I couldn't tell you. But I hear it's very good, and it's a Favreau thing, so I know it's good. I'm a big fan of Favreau, so I'm sure he's doing a great job. But it got me to thinking of what actually I thought was the best Star Wars anything, movies, TV shows, whatever, the best Star Wars anything that I ever saw. And I'll tell you, when Star Wars first came out, A New Hope, that was great. That was groundbreaking stuff at the time. You know, this was a while ago. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was like cowboys and samurais with the swords, and they gave up their horses for X-wings and all this fancy stuff. You had good guys, you had bad guys, you had a kind of a love story, you had the mystical force, and it was great. It was a wonderful movie, and I saw it a couple of times in the theaters. And then we had The Empire Strikes Back, which was also good, but, you know, New Hope was my favorite. And then, you know, Return of the Jedi, and I was like, all right, that was all right. So how long did we have to wait for this supposed prequels to come out? You know, it was a long wait. And then finally we got The Phantom Menace. And to me, I mean, you know, we saw with the Return of the Jedi how they were moving towards entertaining younger children, it seemed to me, you know, with the Ewoks and all this, you know. And now we have Jar Jar Binks, and the kid who played Anakin, to me, was, I don't know, I don't think he was very good. But there was also one thing that really turned me off to the whole that whole Phantom Menace, and I guess even the ones coming after it, was, I remember, if you remember when Obi-Wan was explaining to Luke in A New Hope what the Force was, how it was this thing, the power of that's all around us, and it's in nature and in the earth and whatever. It was just this power you can use and tap into. It was like a religious event, and it was great because it's like, it was like saying the Force is all around us, and if we can learn, we can probably learn to use it. It was like a mystical, magical event. So now we're in the Phantom Menace, and we find out that you need midichlorians to see how far along in the Force you how much of the Force you are. What? In the bloodstream? You need little thingies in your blood to see if you're going to be if you have the power of the Force. Come on, man, give me a break. That was a killer for me. I was very disappointed. I was really very disappointed. I liked the magical angle to it, the mystical angle to it, that it was, you know, all around us, and I thought it was really cool. And on to what it was, the Clone Wars was after that, and you got Hayden Christensen playing Anakin. Again, for me, he didn't quite cut it. Anyway, and that was still, it was like for kids. And then what was Revenge of the Sith? Anyway, I wasn't so keen on those. And then we got the sequels that came out. When I saw the Force Awakens, I was like dumbfounded. I was like, this is A New Hope done differently with, you know, a female Luke Skywalker and a male Princess Leia, basically. Bottom line, the same storyline, the same typical storyline like it was, you know, whatever. Instead of Darth Vader, we had Kylo Ren, and we had some Death Star again, whatever, something like. To me, it was like it's disappointing to me. Now, going back to my original statement with the best Star Wars vehicle that I ever saw, and this is considering that also the Clone Wars was great. I didn't see all of them. I saw most of them, but most of the episodes of the Clone Wars, which I really liked. But for a movie, my all-time favorite Star Wars anything, the New Hope would be my second favorite, but my all-time favorite is Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Rogue One. Now, I know you could disagree. A lot of people disagree with me on this. A lot of people were like, it was all right. But no, I thought it was great. It was superbly done. And it was more gritty. It was more, I guess, adult. I mean, I guess kids could watch, but it was more adult. I mean, they really showed, it really portrayed this battle, the Rebel Alliance and the Empire. Okay, it really portrayed that. I mean, when they were going to other planets, and it was these dusty backwater towns with like dirty and I don't know. It was just, it had this feeling, like really earthy, down to earth feeling. And Jyn Erso, which Felicity Jones was just awesome, and she was just like gallivanting around the universe. I don't know what she was doing, but she was not part of any kind of rebel alliance. She wasn't a member of any kind of thing. She wasn't fighting the war. Apparently, she felt left out. She felt betrayed because everybody that she knew that was gone out of her life, and she was like felt abandoned. So she had no interest in anything else. I guess she gets in trouble for doing stuff. She gets arrested. She was in some kind of well. Before I continue, this is going to be all spoilers. So if you didn't see it, go see it first. It's a lot of fun. It was a great movie. I loved it. Anyway, Felicity Jones was just awesome, and she was in the beginning. I'm not going to go through the whole storyline. Then you had Diego Luna, who played Cassian. And Cassian, he was a pilot. He was a rebel, and he believed in the cause. He was so committed to it, and you could see it. I mean, he acted it perfectly. How much he was involved, that he was even willing to kill his own people for the cause. That's very interesting to note. I mean, he does it a few times. And he tells Jyn one time that, he's been fighting this war since he's 16 years old. He just encompassed his whole being. That is what he lived for. And she was just the opposite at the time. And they got her out of her prison, wherever she was in prison. They got her out because the Rebel Alliance wanted to use her to get to her father, Galen Erso, because he's the one who built the Death Star. They knew who he was. And they wanted to, first of all, they wanted to kill him because they didn't want him to finish the project, but they didn't tell her that. And they wanted to use her to get to the father. So Guerrera Saw Gerrera was the person who was supposed to take care of her after her parents sent her to him, played by Forrest Whitaker. Great stuff. And she sees he has a hologram of her father that she gets to see, and he tells her that he designed this Death Star with a flaw. And that was another good thing about it, because after A New Hope, when Luke hit the Death Star and destroyed it, everyone was like, they built all this big fancy schmancy ship, and they left that vulnerability in place. Well, now we know that it was put in there on purpose by Galen Erso, which made it cool. And she saw it. She saw that he wasn't a traitor or anything. He wasn't He wasn't with the Empire, and she realized that she has to be involved in this. And that's the story. Basically, is that was their goal. to find out what's going on, to find out that they wanted to get the plans for this Death Star so they could find the vulnerability and attack it from there. And that's how the story proceeds. But you got a lot of great actors. I mean, like I said, Diego Luna, Felicity Jones, Alan Tudyk. Of course, Alan Tudyk plays the robot. I mean, he's just so good in everything. Ben Mendelsohn plays Fennec, who's the big shot Empire guy, whatever, you know. And Riz Ahmed, who plays the pilot that defects from the Empire and goes to the Rebel Alliance. And also we got basically a cameo by Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa, which was cool. I like these little things. And there's a lot of little Easter eggs all throughout that movie, which is cool. There's C-3PO and R2-D2 show up for a quick moment, things like that, which made it great. It made it great. It was a great movie, great story. But the best part, I tell you, the best part of this was towards the end, where Darth Vader is chasing down Princess Leia's ship. And they get it, and he boards the ship. You don't know it's him yet. And in the shutters of this hallway, and it's dark on one side, and all the rebel soldiers are down the end of the hallway with their guns pointed in the dark, and then you hear Darth Vader's breathing, and then he turns on the lightsaber, and then you could see who it is, and he goes down this hallway, and he destroys everybody in his path. I mean, that's the first time we saw Darth Vader as to who he exactly is. So he's walking down this hallway, and he's basically obliterating everybody in his path. This is, like I said, the Darth Vader we never saw, but we see now how evil he is, because that's what he was supposed to be. What a great scene. And I tell you, and then you see, right after that, the beginning of A New Hope. It was like the precursor to A New Hope. It was fantastic. That, to me, was my favorite Star Wars movie. I could watch it over and over again. I've watched it a bunch of times since I saw it in the theaters. And it's been a while since I saw it, but I'd like to see it again. So, well, that's my take. I'm not involved in this drama with the Mandalorian stuff. I don't know anything about the Mandalorian. I never watched it. It's fine, my own fault. But I'm sure eventually I'll get to see it. And I'm confident that it's as good as people say it is. But until I see it, my favorite is Rogue One. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think you'll like it too if you're a Star Wars fan. So that's all for now. If you like the video, please just put a like. I mean, yes, maybe, whatever. But stay good to one another. And take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.